was a mamma nachi na de mama paba aha eye KFM kasamponi kwene eye twada wajefo bosume da toso eye miensa won fimpe no ene na duonu enumu eni e bosu emre wie do sense ma hodo aboabo no man kan mu ene anope ne de hwe ne ditie ena matena se amede ebeso nsa no pabre mu akan kase ewo KFM kasa emfoni eso ewa hameda asese wajebre na da aje wo fie konkwani ase wo office sane be bibia a wo hweme ene anope na ojefo bosume de to so miensa ye de basa ya dom na ase ye wra bosume foforo mu ye wra na otwe foforo mu ewo afi foforo mu de obo ade na daro ma ba bibia ye kama pa ma ne ma nyina ye foforo enti wa no mo so da so wo ne ma dada mu no na wa asesa na wa ma ne ma ye foforo nsama hodo esisi ne esisi etwemu ne afa be sisi ne editie ne de hwe anope atwerofo atweroma semo fa semo kroje ma gibre na daje a mede ebeso nsa no pabre mu akan kase ewo KFM kasa mfoni so ma me fa sana PS anope emfama talent microfinance kakra bia ba ko pa ene anope won ma ba wo mo be boa ye ma ye hwan ye han ye wo mo be ma ye sika dwete kudi egalajan na yetumi e de akrakra ye nwuma mu se wo ya nkran so ye kuokuo so ye asore adwumakuo bia ye bia no de bra talent microfinance ye betumi no atena se ni aye hyehyɛ ye ensihu edo ma no ye keto abi ofa ya no afa pepa ho na ensa wo na wokɔ no trap na ti bela tidom na ensa wokɔ na bibia na tumi akɔnkan ye pa e mantem ni nyina no ye wo hono no ya tena kase no ewo adabraka dance bar circle ho na be ho talent microfinance ewo ya kache no ewo ma me bisa so ya sorry oye event organization anya bia no oye spinning machine na okita bi ana de na okita wo sorry na uhia drums drums ni ebo no kunchen crane na se wo de aguo no uhia bi ana sa uhia microphones speakers say ye cordless wireless ni ka ho nyina oba KFM musical center me pa cho betumi anya bi e ho na bibia no akonkan e de amawo bra open cameras ahodo lighting system niam bi e fa mfidi dwuma ho de me pa cho ba KFM musical center me pa cho betumi anya bi guitar e bi ho your bass your lead no ho no combo e de aka nyina no obetumi anya bi e KFM musical center obewu ye kira kwa asante mantemu ye wo edum si ye ne Samra hotel no e na di animu hwe enkramantam ye hu obehu ye Benjilo abro sign no a ne children hospital no e na di animu hwe no Benjilo abro sign no ma e na KFM musical center me pa cho ya denda ye ho aye ne mo e di dwuma ne yesom Ghana for open kire mu bia free 0244941047 0244941047 na on KFM musical center me ba cho wo ne yen endi enkomo ena no pay me no aka se ne e Odiyifo bosom de to so miensa me pam che 3rd February aka 11 days to go a Valentine Day e dey na person todema odofo e dey nso na person dey surprise wa kodomkia o kanchema o sweet porcupine bi na neni nso atumi agi sa wunni ba bibia na wunnya ba bi dia mpacho bra men so nsa na men kan foma sa tutumrika ne ya e bra wo fifie e bra wo fie adwuma mu twawani ekohwe Dadaba Tech Hub eho ene wo fonsa papa eho aka de ene niam ahodo aka mpacho Valentine e banti atete niam no se huhu bra na yensesa bi ma na fa koche odofo na anya nimonyam hye na enti wanim entumi fama obehu Dadaba Tech Hub ewo Carnation ye Bentakwa station no bebi buses no lodo na eho na Dadaba Tech Hub ye wo onti bibi ase na person ni yedi nkoma 0206 016037 0206016037 na woni yen ending komo Valentine promotion Valentine wahala e wo Dadaba de fan form na ma enimonyam hye dwumako ya daro ma no pay ma gibre na daje mede ensem no e de be so na ensem a mede ba no de be di mo akotin bi eni enka ne so ame mra hye bedwani onwanyamfo ose chairman sabonso wono so a na be parliamentary affairs minister wosan e be ye edom kese ba no de ni wo chense anamontu a speaker etu na watwe eye mrahyebejiafo enan asensen no ochem se enye ne kwan so eno no na wo ensen foforo mu eno na Felix Ofosukwache wode abeto dwa na ochem se wo be kaya John Dramani Mahama private jet yi aye ne nuane de na wode di dwuma na manfo dodo na atwe o ma no siso eye ne se daure waba bonten e de mu nkyeremu de aba de en na ye enkyeremu na wo adwedie nsem mu Obekaya na no fiada and Ghana man penny His Excellency John Dramani Mahama about Dr. Johnson Esiamadin say womra governor edema the Bank of Ghana amount for eke kan say mebre me no ka say kura no yatam man penny ni attorney general kwagina asem dibia womu ebe yom ho ano na mo ene man penny aso edi nkyeremu etumi edi aba na wo enije die nsemu enumu enna nyuntini ba ko efe no timini egbunzo no wo kyeremu se wo hwe mprantwe ya akakọ ya ade a se etete pa sika sem no adoso mprantwe ya sika sem yi ebusan se do na aka we ho edi hwe na edi tie na no pe ma givre na adaje a mede be so nsa no pabre mu aka kase wo KFM kasamfoni se bra wo hwe me wo kasamfoni so no abe fada roma KFM TV GH and your Facebook and afa YouTube obetumi enya bi ehwe asan etie bi ho na wo pabrofo papa de a emu apparently furthermore nevertheless in addition to conclusion no ne nyina no ewo ho Odiyifo Yaw Charles still I be krache fialengo 1 ene dia me jeso me twa me ho tewaba me ba ye be she kase na se e dia mamo Afe mame ma kwaba na ensem no yenjada je na twada no pay ogefo obosom no foforo kra yewremu yenhye ensem na se emfa emamo na yenyina be kaya na no ukuada na ebra na wono eye entotoye vetting appointment committee no wom kokotena ase enomo etotototo Asoafo ahoda mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama abomudin se wono eboa no na ne dwumadi entumi enkonkan no wọ́n kọ́ appointment committee na vetting for no etumi atototo ma no na eno ena gogo wi echire na anu entokwache na etumi kokko ba ye na mra sebedwe fie enkunwa na wọ́n pagya anya sara na minsan ke wo boxes any restless wo ye Parliament House ene na we atama kunwa asoa na we epagya pono ene kasamfoni ena afede fidi omo kasam nyina wo mo se microphones ro mo se ni nyina na eno mo ena speaker Alban Kingsford man agbagben enam so emam na hyebejafo nan na wonu mudi mu ntentema pa ewo dwumadie no mu no watu omo de asensan Roxen Nelson Dafia mekpo wono South Dai mra hyebedwane Jerry Ahmed Shaib wono Weja Gbawe mra hyebedwane sanso na Owura Frank Anodompre swafo anase mnasheje ni ba de sha womo ensawam adwagiri na Suleiman Tampuri wono gushegu na wasansem no mo na enkane mnasheje ni de ma de sha wono soami abato mpeso aso wono a obeye edom kese ba no dani na swafo a wohwe mnasheje entotoye Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs onmonyamfo onmonyamfo sa chairman sabonso ababonti no chense da bi nedi kan tumi ben enna speaker ogina so ena odi tu sa na mo no ena so wose sa wo hwe order 342 a wo mu didi djuma e wo na hye fie na emma speaker sa tumi no emma ne sa ahoden no emma ne sa akwanya no enti wonim ne ba ye nti ene de no watumi agina sa akwanya no so ene sa tumi no so a wo kire mu se sa na hye bejafo enan watumi etu o masensenti monyamfo sa chairman sabonso enka ne so ame abato mpeso aso na hye bejani e kire mu se sa na monto na speaker etu ye ne de eho wa sembisa se wono mo hwe na wono mo etumi ebisa na wosansem no mo ogopiemu weja gbawe abato mpeso aso won kampompuni mantem hanum na NDC parliamentary candidate ba kwa wono na ginemu na anka wo pese wo moto abade ma no na wo be mra hyebedwani wo be bia Jerry Ahmed Shaib boxer yi wakwa pie ya na de yatu no e de asensen onimonyamfo Alhaji Faiza Seidu wono eno wo kase no chose asem no baaye no ama adehia wono weja gbawe timemufo ene constituency ni nyina no ade na hawmo atete omo pa no se mrashebedwani pa wono abonimonyamfo ayato abama se kokoye ya na musini wo mrashebedwe fie na di enim kan na toto ya no na hwe na mpuntuo ni yedie ntumi mra no ena ne ade igbo ni omo chem se ne awokoye yeyi eyanim gwase kese pa ede ma de hia wono ma wo we jagbawe ena bato be so na ebra onmonyamfo Pfizer eye sedu ene ensentwefo etwin komo no ni nkiremu a wode ma ye eni
say yeah MPI election no is just about a month old in parliament, and I say less than a month old in parliament no ebetimi akoye bibi ya etisa. Now also on ordinary parliamentarian because he has some on position as the second deputy chief whip for the minority. And with that leadership role no na anka nsese obeye bibi sa. But abeye nsem pie wo your constituency you mu because na obia expect say your MP no be kwa akoye bibi sa. So obi obeye bibi sa akra say anka nye obi a watena parliament a check akra. But wo a ya ma first time in fact first time dem do bibi a na watimi akoye bibi sa na try say ya ma another opportunity a wanhwe a wo de sekan ne krante na be kwa parliament akodi nkofo echi. Nti na ya MP no ye ne de na anya ye de. Ye betu no for say going forward no you should be of good behavior and show us that he's a lawyer and also what a good lawmaker. That's why the constituent voted him to go and lobby very well and bring development to the community because Obawe Jagbawe yakechire wo nema pii mu. Wa we opposition aboka ko lobby abre opportunities no. Okokun a one na ebe ma osa opportunities na abre na tire say ina na eba den. Eba bre nti ebe to no for say going forward no it should desist from such behaviors and be of good conduct as a lawmaker. Because 2 years no anka obetuma ye nema bebre wo mu a obetumi de nkoso abrɛ ya owe jagbawe but saa 2 weeks we na kyerɛ sɛ wokɔ 2 weeks no kora nkurɔfoɔ bɛhwɛ o side and side because they wosɛ wode ɛbɛn wa ebi asotoro koraa na ebetumi agye nti ɛbrɛ no deɛ ɛnyɛ ɔno nkwa nso na ɛba wɔ jagbawefoɔ nyinaa so ɛbɛyɛ den paa sɛ ebetumi ama no the mandate again to represent us because the people of Ojagbawe are not like that. So if we give you the mandate and go and behave like that, in fact, na who feel. And says I'm not sure. Said the constituents will be happy to vote him the second time to represent us. I'm not sure.
Enti we onwonyamfo ora Alhaji Shaibu na wode sansami etumi ede atodwa wo kire mu ede amaye na ebusia no pe kase no e KFM kasamfoni nso ma ye nto aso emfama mu na wo sa speaker nsem na mu na ofonse ayere bi mra hye bedwane onwonyamfo kwadwo opon kroma wono nso ne nanu ade atomu bi no chem se wo hwe anamonto a wotu ye na na kamia se ebufuo bi wo speaker mu eno nti na wamfa standing orders anase amamna mrahyebegiafo no gina so na wo mudidi wo munwuma no wantumi amfa anya adwuma na se ebufuo bi wo nimu nti o chem se won beye ne edi mu na se fatakete se speaker betumi ede emra no etumi ede aye adwuma na etoso mienu na etoso miensa na wo chem se wo mehwe se wo metwe na adwen ede abaso se papa ye pa cho ne awo ye no se wotumi hwe na etumi eye adwuma kamia se wontumi mfiti prekope entu anamo wo mo omra ene hyehye ahodo a wo mo edidi dwuma ewo honom enti no wono mehwe se sa anamo nto no nyina no etumi etumpon na bibi aye adwuma ewo mra hyebeje fie honom kama ye pa enti o kyerem se wo mehwe ne nimanimi ya no ma kyoro krata ede ama mo esanse wo mo to mo san ni nyina no eye trene minority and afi majority chief whip for no omo trentrem mrahyebegiafo no ene mrahyebegiamu nwumadie na obi a ye trene de ebeba ne sen na yetumi atowa sen na etu sen so a wan na afi oba be trentrem mrahyebegiafo nti wei ene nsem a onimonyamfo kwadwo ponkroma wono so etumi ede abetu dwa ha anope a ye de to aso na ebra manfo kika sansem ni nyina ena bagben wanya de ena speaker wanya de ena wan fam na anya adwuma na babin so say he nyame kan kire mo sai suni bani ne ye na trenefo tio yesemo ye chief whip obi a wo tretre dwumadie mra hye be yefie na sa tretre ne sa na tie ena speaker say he nea mu ye no egum na hyebedwafo no hu fi egum na hyebedwam na nkasa nso hu fi nea tosumienu asem wo yi Ghana for de ama mo betray Ghana for enti no no so akoye pani no on tena fi enhwema mofra we nanka ezan so wotena bi ehwema mofra we nanka ye bebu nanka we fo a wono speaker Alban Gbagben no ye bebo ne din e de aka ho bi na wo pani so wotena fi ma hwe e ma asadwafo a ye bu pani bone a ye bu bi di ka ho enti wono on tena se elunti na wode ni pani di ene ni pani nyuma etumi e de atodwa ene de wetu sa anamo no na enkyeremu a eye speaker eye Kingsford Alban Gbagben wode atodwa no eni
been a solemn exercise in parliamentary scrutiny degenerated into an appalling display of chaos and lawlessness, bringing this House into disrepute before the entire world. What transpired was not just a gross affront to the dignity of Parliament, but also a blatant contempt of the House. This further aggravates the already existing low level of trust of Parliament and parliamentarians. I have the unfortunate burden of responding to the disgraceful and deeply regrettable events that unfolded during the Appointments Committee. Such behavior is utterly unacceptable and a direct affront to the dignity of this House. The actions of those involved have sullied the image of Parliament and also betrayed the trust of the Ghanaian people, whose expectations of leadership, decorum, and responsible conduct have been callously disregarded. The Parliament of Ghana is expected to stand as the foremost institution of democracy, entrusted with the solemn duty of upholding the principles of good governance, integrity, and selfless public service. Yet, the events that transpired during the Appointments Committee hearing yesterday have gravely undermined these ideas.
Enti we speaker Kingsford Alban Gbagben ono so den sami e de atodwa enti me no ka say de wono mo wo na otwe mienu 2 weeks wono mo nkom na show ye fi enti o chena say ya wono mo ebe kom na show ye fi no nya de obehu Roxen Nelson da Afia South Day Frank Anadon Pre and Samamado Ejiri Sanso and Suleiman Atampuli Gushegum na show ye na Jerry Ahmed Shaib Wejagbawe Sanipa 9 there enya dia obehu omo ewo na anopeka sei ewo KFM kasamfoni so me da so nya bre na adaje na wo hweme adwenkyere bia wo de fa kase no ho ojato Facebook amehwe na ma kenkan dia ma YouTube nso ni nyina na KFM TV GH WhatsApp and after test the 0246239070 0246239070 ma kenkan dia ma na no be kaya na Oliver Baka former wo ekokotro ede to abefo ntintan fidie no so enka ne Twitter se kan se X no ene nam so ma amra hyebedwefo no okire mu se appointment committee no wo mo ye vet no ya no mo gigege adamudie wo mo gigi kudi l'argent gadwete edifi nominees ne enchen ansana approve ebi etumi aba ebi mpo ode ya questions bi o mbe bisa so nu agi kakra na sa question we de men gonko bisa men ene nam so ma ne de o moto nsa de frɛ Baka Oliver former wo ma no ba pie mu ewo appointment committee na no be yi ensama no wo ba nye ne nkwa no ba yo ne mranim ni na ato dalsi ena wo no ba ye betena abanwane mu wo mo yi ensam na awie ekire wo so ebi wo hwaye ono na etworo ye ebi nso wo hanye ono na ebi kura no amanfo na atworo de ahye no wo mo manage na so e ma ne de chopa e de baye na eno mu na Bobby Banson ono private legal practitioner wono so de na no ada beto mu bi no chem se soso ampa se ne nuane ampa na saa asem a Oliver Baka Voma wode beto dwa wo mrahye bedwe fie se wono mo chicheje adamudie dia wo chem se saa su ni ban no enye eso mo hwe na ni ya no wo mo boss asem no edi tugu anti no wo chem se enhwehwemu bi edi mu na esefata no wono mo nye wo hyemra hyebedwa no speaker any mpenifo ni titro any committee chairman first deputy speaker ora Bernard Ahiafo wo shomo kete senhwehwemu bi edi mu na esefata bia no wono mo nya ne ye pa fiko na asem no wono mo ntumi mfa ne puma sebe entumi emfa metu dwa san se koba ne sei dia enya dia etweye na eno no besa ma awrehwemu bia ganafo eni ewo emra eni mrahwebedwafo eni saa demudi agegye no mo no wono mo nyemfa metu dwa na saa nkuranhye ne saa awrehwemu no ganafo ensan enya ewo yen Ghana yen dwumadi ahodo fitim na hyebedwafie ekopem asemdi bia eni mampani akyere ne nyina no wono mo entumi yante we ene nsema ora Bobby Banson private legal practitioner wono so etumi ede abetudwa na obekaya Ghana mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama baye ena wogogo PM wo Kenya ne amahodo bi so wo mo chem se na mampani ya to abade ama na nse wa be na uchili ena ufili ena Ghana fo to abama we omu bleedi ena so na ba ne sem so we uba ya ena onu abema Ibrahim Mahama ne private jet no de nam wiem na ukuruzi ewo wiem na no mo ena opani a wono na kasa de free eye mampani aso ye odmonyan for Felix Ofosuah ache aba abonten ebro okoko piem of vet won is say papa una kasa de mamra mampani o eba ne sen ena ye hu se mampani ukuruzi wa Ibrahim Mahama ne private jet we ena so ogbo we nkanya asem bia ebra mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama oye mampani no ofasa economy eye flight bia na ene wa ba enye bone enti wo chem se we nu mpo no aya ono ani nuade na wode man so killer kwedi ebra beje na twi kakra afetwa na ase na mo enye se na eboa ye ode ha amanfo no eno bi na obi edije eye Ghana mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na enchiremu a odmonyan for Felix Ofosuah eye minister designate eye mrahye mampani aso eye kasama for ode tudwa eni.
In opposition, we criticize President Akufo-Addo's lavish display, where he rented an aircraft costing millions of Ghana cedis to the taxpayer. As Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces when he became president, one of the first things he did was to ask about the status of the Armed Forces. In the Air Force, there's a unit called the Communications Squadron, which handles presidential aircrafts, led by the Air Force Commander himself. The president asked them for an update on the status of the presidential aircraft because one of the ways that the MPP sought to defend what we deem to be waste of taxpayers' money on rentals of expensive jets was that the presidential aircraft was not in good shape. I think it is fair that on assumption of office, the president seeks to find out the state of the aircraft. In the last week or so, he has received an update. And that is why in the recent travel to Angola, Tanzania, and Kenya, he used the presidential aircraft. I happen to have been on it. I can tell you that it is in pristine condition and it is okay. Once President Mahama knows that it is okay, he will do so. But before then, the option left to him would have been to either rent a replacement aircraft or fly commercial. Both alternatives were going to cost us money. He decided that in the very recent past, during his campaign, his brother happened to have 2 aircrafts, which he made available to him to the extent that he needed to travel. He has been using it. So using it for a week more at no cost to the taxpayer was the best option out of the 3 that he had. And I, as a taxpayer, take me out of the equation as a member of this government. As a taxpayer, I would have no concern if the president makes a choice that costs me nothing, especially when we know the source of the aircraft and its record. Now, let me put it on record that President Mahama is not one who is given to flamboyance and ostentation. I've had the distinct pleasure of traveling with him a couple of times. There was a day that we were supposed to join a commercial aircraft.
So can I?
If you make me, yes. Just 1 minute. he was willing to go onto that aircraft that had only 2 seats left without any of his aides. He and his wife. We had to meet up with him later. Another president would have insisted that because we were not finding space, he would rent an aircraft. I have also been with him in an aircraft that had only economy seats from Frankfurt to Accra. He sat in it as president without complaining. So he is not someone, he could have, as President Akufo-Addo did, rented expensive aircraft to ensure its comfort. But he chose to fly economy.
Enti we yon for Felix Fosuah Oduahoma and what is answer me ya dia toja no problem aka kase o KFM kasa mfoni so na we go so wo hwe me da se so agibre na da je wo fie konkwani as offices na no pay ya wo hwe me na wo tie nsema hodo a ACC e wo man Ghana mu 020024623970 betumi de wadwen kire dia fa say WhatsApp and answer text Facebook no so KFM TV GH and afa YouTube no obetumi de kire na on some kan bia no wetumi de ba ma me gina wesu ntwa me hotemi ba ensem na aka no dɔso ye bedo musuko e de amamo
se kuyadwuma eka mahodo no afa pem ho a wo man Ghana so enkan afia hankro mfie de watwi enum na mpani ye se ye bebɔ kuyafo aba so e wo man Ghana mu ha enne kuyani wasetrem etesei farini asetrem etesei na wonu a enye mwanso asetrem etesei aso wonim se ye wofoto a aban no eboto ho se de be ya wo benya na wodi abo kuyadwuma no ho ebra wenti ena obehia me ewe piafo pampa so wodwumadie so no ye de agri news no ebebrew ema ebo won ho modene ewe ye pia adwuma yi mu me kire women in agri business. If you appreciate feed yourself ebepem planting for food and jobs enfonsa ase a ye toma dansifo medin edi kofi frempon manson shia me ewo KFM TV so ebenada ene ya woda bia na yemfa akuafo pampa so emrew wa bra me ne ma bedwafo esinkonwa na ye ni apia adwuma ho nkomo akuafo pampa so yesumo
Meshi oya dia ba na wa komati
amande shie mutie shika semu buafo
Medogbe na mi Ghana duko du ajakple ho duko kata. Mie chonya nyu ade na mi cho Talent Microfinance Limited Gajadopa. Mie wona susu savings, adishare, school buafo, cashback, ple bubwa okata. Nenya be egajom de mi agbo la letie to megbeko ateun aho gadodo. Kenenya be egajom vivi la nenya be o gahia ola ateun ava de o gai kene hia fa.
Tanenye be mi foncho mi afa jomu yo kenye mi afa gadodo nyawa. Business loan elemiashi, church financing elemiashi, salary loan elemiashi, eye bubo li kenye personal loan. Nenye be mi foncho business loan a enye gadodo ikemie nana asichalao. Nenye be washiba keke alum eleswe oya va talent. Mi pepe gede nwo nenye wo shigba lesua ne woge wo keke gede ji to talent po mo nu me nenye be mi fonchu mi afa salary loan a enye gado mo mi ke mi vuna mi afa jidudu $1 nke ga nyu he ya va talent wo payslip pe bank statement ye kwenye nwi hia o na kokko ho salary loan le rate mi to keke akeji church financier personal loan va nenye habobo masoli hama eji fufofo sankuo jitao olila ashibobwe kekeake mie flegeno na nohem v choji nto jinwade vare kwereka mpopo kai ganyu heya talent kuna kpohe ya ole chagbagba na do tare talent bena wo gado monwa anobobu enami akpenami
ezibe ya nyafi ke talent la
Talent Microfinance Jengo Amegan Shipe Ape Letina Tejibo Hotame
miape kapomo yenye 050-129-1298 alo 050-128 9119. Talent. Oga Kwamanu Banto.
Talent Microfinance, your channel of wealth.
That's na me sama akwa ba biemu anope se okay FM kasa mfoni so na me da so ati aponso amede mamu na me da masepa se monya bre na adaje nsam ne de droso na me de mamu Facebook ne KFM TV GH Samsung na YouTube KFM TV GH WhatsApp number no 0246239070 na bibia no etumi akonkan e wo ho no ye pa ne ento ansam no so Oba kaya mampeni America mampeni Donald Trump baye fiti na otwemienu abe ya ene yeso wo pamo adehye ene wo mu ni nkrata smugglers ni eyi wo mo nam kuntu asa wo pio no no America mamu wo pamo nyana wo nyina dodo eye empima hansia ahanu 6200 ene wo mo aye no mo deport wo mo anase yesusu se deportation be come no mo ana so afo a yabo ne din so ono na mehwe ya ma no ne nsam so e wo man kan mo no a ene ye not ton mra hye badwane onu nyamfo Samuel Okujeto ablakwa wo de abeto dwa no wo kire mu se saa nipa empema hansia ene ahanu no 6200 Ghana for mu yemu ewo mu no eye 156 oha ene oha na edionum nsia ene Ghana de hye one more ewo America sa how ya ye kwa twem mu nyina ese ade akọ mu fie no mu nkro so na nkyeremu a onwanyam for Samuel Okujeto abrakwa edemaye ni.
And since my nomination, I have diligently inquired from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs what the status is. There have been publications that about 6,200 Ghanaians will be affected. But from the brief that has been shared with me from the officials at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they allay fears that the numbers are not that high and that currently the official communication the ministry has received from Washington is 156, not 6,200, 156 Ghanaians who face imminent deportation. And indeed, they indicate that about 40 of them have been asked to be, they've asked our mission in Washington to process those people expeditedly to be deported. It's clear that President Trump is really serious about this executive order. If you follow what happened to the Colombians when the Colombian president refused to accept Colombians who were being deported, we saw that immediately President Trump announced trade sanctions, and Colombia has had to retreat. So I think that the strategy that we should deploy as a country is to ensure that our missions abroad extend consular services to all of these persons. They are our compatriots. We must be concerned about their welfare. And if we have to give them legal assistance, that's why earlier I talked about the consular fund. We need to quickly populate that fund. And I'm happy that the distinguished Minister of Finance is here as we work on the 2025 budget. It is a line item I will really be appealing to his ministry to approve, so that we will have a consular fund for the first time, so that that fund will be available, legal support, consular assistance. At least let's do our best so that if they have a case to remain in those countries, they stay. And then if they have to be received by us, it is also done in a humane way that respects their rights. So we are not going to leave them there to struggle on their own. We will let them feel and know that the government of Ghana, the people of Ghana, care about their plight, and that we are doing our best to extend to them consular assistance.
For Samuel Okujeto Abrakwa, as I said, Omunyan Minister Designate Foreign Affairs, not Tom Rush, or some year to Jano Peka say, KFM Casanfonia, so, and that's what it was. And no day, and I'm one, you come say Samuel Nate George, Sam George. Waka got to Rodiatoni, and can it Twera, to see a cancer X. Wako chode atu ni nyina na kokko bae ebra speaker Alban Bagwen suspended owura Nelson Roxon Dafia Mekpo South Day Imra Shebedwani eno na Sam George go chwo so we di obesre pa Sam George say wayi Dafia Mekpo si mensuro oso no ugina hopinten otawachi oye no ho so abrobo ene ajesampai perfume rice ene ye nchendi wose wojiri pa sa de sha wonu mo ewo South Day eto abade mawo se wo ye okofo wo ye kandifo pa wo ye onua enti omo se gina pintin na wo mota we church se eyere so chen so pan so se den ara we so ebetwem this one to shall pass ana wode atodwa no che se enti wota na chi ewo ha oni amane ene apenise nyina mu ono ade a wo betumi ahwe na edimu na sefata bia no wo mo de wo manim onyam etumi ede amano oche so how ni amane a wo femi wo se emane how emane ntetel emane mbu abemu na mo gina se wo ye okofo nti we ene ensem a ora Sam George wono so ede ama majority chief whip me pa nche trene ede ma edom kese o mra shebe fie ono ana ye mra shebe ni di ma de sha wono mo e wo South Day about one person so Roxon Nelson Dafia Mekpo eno so ensem ne yento a kase no so ewo eye homesuansem na otwe etwemu obehu abefo mfeni no so no na emofre bi sukufo bi ekita dade enkrante pa na wode hwenkrofo na wode twa ne to na wode twa ne to we yese eye Accra Academy ana Accra High na egogo ba asa no na nsaniyo aba no wode hwem saa na wodi dwom eno na adehye betumi achoro krata ade akwakoma attorney general say wonum ntumi hwe na wonum entu hu anamo na posifo nso ye entumi mbremu na saa adehye enan ya yehom so ye de sekan ye bo mu yi Samuel Osha Kingsford Quesin Stephen Otin and Afia Dominic Ewuku AJ womu ene nipa enan ya me no e ka say no first year students a ongogo pie mu yenim bone ko oma ye yenim nia wonu ma ya me no e ka say wode brantan ene nkrate ena ehwehwe mu a enti we Accra Academy Accra aka womu mra ne blew enti blew no eno na wonu bronti we empenifo aba se wonu mo hwe na amanie ni ohaw bia ewo mu na safata ne asotwe bia no wo mu entumi emfama omo se na betumi aboa ma ne manyina no ebetumi afa ne ntuma pa ede front me no e ka say de ensama hodo a etumi ababetodwa ewo honum a anope ye de to akase no so etumi ede amamu anope kase ewo KFM kasanfoni so ene ye da so ati adwam a ye de emamu se na ebetumi aboa na bibia no etumi akonka na yento akase no so na no pay na yenko asante mantemu na rehosem ene yede eto so fititi sikambro ena ewudie emum wom chense wonum agbo mesi ni bituo ewo adoma no no ewo asante mantemu a eno akwakoye arehosem ne asefi yempa na dansini a wono ewo hodomo a wode asem no nkiremu ede ema ye no echemu se saa nipa ya yabo ni tuo yi a wono mo ekunu adodo na wo saa bia ho a wo fen se ke wo mchen se honum no edi on nim na ke ena wo mutumi wo mchen se wo ye owarefo na waware posini kunu na yere no informant ewo eremu honum a na ena wo mchen se bra wo ba ye ene saa ne ma wo kokkoe no na amanfo etrentene nsa on so pa se ewudie ni eyi dwiremudie ni krono bododo na ano ade a wono edi mu ntentema ena wono nso ɛna me no ka sɛ otumi ɛyɛ enti ebre kokko ba ne saa no na sɛ wɔn atu amoni ɛde esi ne so ɛne sɛ wɔn ɛkokko ta akyira etuo etumi akɔka na wato anananom ɛwɔ nse do yaya ɛno akɔkɔ yare wo sɛ wɔn kyɛm sɛ wɔn bɔ ho modern bia sɛ wɔn betumi afa akwan ne akwanyasa so na nka wɔn tumi ahwɛ sɛ obenya nkwan na mmom no fofia nto ata wato anananom ɛwɔ nse do nti dansini a wɔn ɛbɔ nsɛm no nkyerɛ mu de ma yɛ ɛyɛ owura Evans Nkum wɔn ɛne wɔde saa asɛm yi ɛde ma yɛbɛgyina rɛhosɛm yi so ɛwɔ asante mantemu mu ne yɛtwa ho yɛba yɛde kaseɛ no bɛkɔ adwadie nsɛm ama mo. Ma yento asem no so ene anope fama mo ewo eye dwedie ensem mu na abeka na no afia da atwam ya na mampani ebo eye Dr. Johnson Esiamadin se wono ene mra be ye governor ede ema Bank of Ghana na obeka ya na enkane no na eye deputy governor ede ma Bank of Ghana na sika krabia hodro bi no mu ewo manyimu eguye ena me no eka se no na wo mu chese wono ena na wo hye chire pa obeka ya eye UT Holdings Limited eguye no Johnson and Robert Akwesi ni nyina no eguye no mchem se opani wono ene wota ekire na nyi wono nkwa na mo no remo na manfo Catherine Johnson na na fe Robert Kwesi ama wo mo ene na wo mo taye ekire na no mo ene Felix Ofosukwache aba bontin no chem so nie ncho mo de sa de bre na ede man no echem se na no ya Dominic Ayene Chief Justice Minister of Attorney General ekoye no Dominic Ayene na subo mo de ball ni nyina no wakotwetwa ni nyina mu na se subo mo de ball no na se ogina emra no na wotumi gina emra ni mu no me no weka se no wo motumi ahwe se wono mo abo ni nyina no etu egu ne nam so ema me no weka se no ene de wo motumi asan bo ni din se wo mehwe na dwumadie no ewo Bank of Ghana no ontumi enkonkofa enfa enye dwumanti wei ene ensema me no weka se no eye mampanyi atren no womotumi di aba eyeyiya no a womo ede ma Ghana for sade nti ene obi a wedi adwirimu nyabrase ne tutu asem sei no womo san ekotam no ede sade bre no etumi ede ama no na yento ansem no so ne no ena Ghana mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama obekaya eye African Continental Free Trade Area dwumedi ekoso ewon kan no womo to omonsa ede frɛ mampani ema wono nso ede nenim onyam ede nenim de ekokota dwumedi na chi na ebra mampani agina apaso ana wode ensem ade tudwa no so we no eyade ebeboa pa wa dwadie ene akoniaba ne amahodo a etwa ye ho ade ehia enti wo se empanimfo ne akanifo wono mo wono mu nimdi na wono mu ewo adwadie hu su ehunu ne nimdi e betumi aboa emasika ene mpuntu etumi aba o man bia so no wono mo hwese o metumi ahye mo kena se ne betumi aboa ma o man bia etrimpo se adwuma bebuso di ama mabunu na sika ebetumi ebuso na oman no etumi afa ne ntoma pa de efra ne ntino wono mo hwe no mo ntumi mboa ma bibia ne ntumi nkonka John Dramani Mahama His Excellency mampeni nsema wode tudwa eni.
One of the most transformative initiatives of our time is the African Continental Free Trade Area. It has the potential to create the largest free trade area in the world. And the African Continental Free Trade Area represents a game-changing opportunity for African businesses, entrepreneurs, and industries. However, trade liberalization in itself is not enough. We must invest in infrastructure to facilitate trade, efficient road, rail networks, ports, and digital connectivity. We must strengthen African supply chains to ensure that our industries produce goods and services that meet both regional and global standards. We must harmonize our trade policies to eliminate non-tariff barriers and reduce the cost of doing businesses across borders. We must fast-track the full operationalization of the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System to facilitate the payment for goods and services across our continent. If we commit to these actions, we can unlock a $3.4 trillion market, creating jobs and prosperity for millions of Africans across this continent. We must move beyond being exporters of raw material to become producers of finished goods. Whether it is cocoa in Ghana, oil in Nigeria, copper in Zambia, or diamonds in Botswana, we must process and add value to our natural resources. By so doing, we'll not only increase our share of global trade, but also create sustainable jobs for our people, especially our young people. We must indigenize ownership of our natural resources. There's capital and technology available to us today to increase our participation in the exploitation of our natural resources. Our governments must therefore work hand in hand with the private sector to drive industrialization through special economic zones that encourage manufacturing and innovation, access to finance for small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the backbone of our economies, investments in technical and vocational education to equip our youth with the skills needed for industries of the future. The fourth industrial revolution presents a golden opportunity for Africa to leapfrog traditional development models. We don't need to go back to inventing the wheel. Digital transformation can drive financial inclusion. It can improve public service delivery and create new opportunities for all our people. We must therefore expand internet access and digital infrastructure to bridge the digital divide. We must encourage fintech and e-commerce to facilitate.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and also had the Assembly to Jabejina, Mampeni, and Samu, Jadi and Samu, so now you try when you buy the casino, I will call any Jadi and Samu at the moment. And here we say, my men sign more quabe nano pay na yanko ye casiana no pay ewo any JD and some more a quabwa a high life new to near my cannon. Now, and I'm not come to my business or penny. Only a month for the donor no and I Juma where feature and Crawford say feature. Why pa only the new to mono when the edge of one and the new to say I corner pa not so. We are no cry back up. Nipa one na ye adwuma na ne nyunton so na kono pa Afia. E wo so woni Afia gina ho na wo to nwum na sani a wo ye ne no wo ye ne nipadua no ne sani ofa enwum ensam na wo nwum no mo no aya na ehye nkuran na ma so ye na chensa na nchiremu akwabo a ediban ni.
Writing and recording songs with some of the artists that you featured. Let me ask you this. Your favorite collaboration of all time?
That's a huge one.
Yeah. That collaboration, you people hit the studio now. Bah! You nail them, Mr. Kai. We're on the same wavelength.
Okay, so I think the shortest one was with Afia.
Afia.
Yeah, very simple. Yeah, smooth. She's one lady who comes and then you teach her the song. And then she takes it to the next level. Easy.
That is Hold Me Down.
Yes, Hold Me Down.
The one is TST.
Yes. Oh, back when I know, said, you like my time with Drew. She wasn't okay, and I'm like, oh, you finished right now. Okay, please teach me the song. And I said, okay, so yeah, man, said, blah 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 blah. I said, okay, I'll say, let's go. She entered the booth and trust me. I looked at her. I'm like, hey, we are fool.
Baby.
na nsɛm ɛyɛ na mprantwe na yɛ bibibi mprantwe na yɛ basa bi na obi a wotwe mpra na ni ɔkyene ya na fe de ye ma obi o ne yɛ gigigigi sika na momo esu de ya de o na ɛno mu na Nigeria sini twani timini egbunzo ɔno no wa bɛka se ye na ɔkyem sɛ na nsɛn sɛ na mprantwe ko o man yi mo no ɛnyɛ o wɔsɛ sɛ mprantwe ni nyina yɛ sika unya fall in love and say wa monetize no na fe de ahya ase so sa nka ye social media handles ni nka ye monetize yo na wo say ye de odo abeka ho wo say odo no akwakwa ye sika nko a ega kudi l'argent jete wele wo say odo bie wa asase so bia ye sika hye ni ma say to wo say yade etete ba nti wo no say kura no eya na enye ne so wo kodo because wo ko si oba pene watching a can't challenge and light bill as a obetua light bill and a water bill aba and I agenda mammy at the hospital and I if you read and I yes casamun qua and watching was a idea and say ama a mantiano bomba some warepa no monetization I am monetizing love and into ayana our leno and film when this so Zania. Lizidi obiato ho say happy birthday dear obekom say obaka today something small yeah you know I don't nsem a timini egbunzo wono so e de abato ja ibegina nsem weso ma nsem eboabo ne nyina na no pe na dwoada wojefo oboso me to so miensa new week new month and the new year no ye de ne nyina no ebetumi de sia se da PSN confirm talent microfinance sika krabia ba ko pe na aba one mo ebe boa ma ye ha ne apinisie ye konua nyina wo mo yi e de firi ho etumi ye de ama ye hwehwe kira ko mantem ne nyina pie mantem emfimfim fra mantem ye asante mantem ba bia be wona mo atena kese na nkasa ewo adabraka kwame nkroma circle ho na ye talent microfinance oba ya adweso ni yadende ye ho me pa cho ope speakers papa up microphones super academy bia we be djuma wo aso dem event ase wo conference ase and as a spinning organization party speakers papa microphones and here then the guitars ahodo drums ahodo there and one the KFM musical center bra na be gene papa opa kra na obetua ne nkakra kra se oba ye no betina se ne aye hyehye na yetumi ya de ama na wa so dem sound no o drums no yetumi ya de event na se no aye kama o live band no obi won say yes chale o machines aye kiko bibia de da no kama ye pa obi won ye kira kwan ye wa santemantemu adum ye ne Sambra hotel no ena di anim hwe enkran ha ye wo Zongo Lane Benjilo Abro sign na ene children hospital di hwe ni mo no eho ena KFM musical center ya dwoso no woni awonte ase enkyeremu bi abesa wonya no 0244941047 0244941047 ani eni nkomo aka 11 days efia de be na wotwe pepepe Valentine woni etutu aka wonsem opa baabi akoto bibi dia ma odofo oyere ukunu wadanfo bi won wabusuani wo sofo ma mebi unya baabi abebacho ma so wonsa se kua won baabi amede wo dada batek up yenko yewura ho wahwe hwedem ha wahwe check hwehwe around wo huni ame wa ha yibi nako eyetufo bo ya tete so percentage no so no wo fam ye pa bra na be yibi koma odofo kanchema wakodonku ya mobile phones papa ho aka de ni aka bia no obenya bi ye dada batek hub na bibia na ntimi kwankan 0206 016037 0206 016037 now ni nkomo obese ye package we video now yi na ye de man won so amepacho ni nyina wo ho enti e ma na ha wo kura aye tufo bo bra ba jibi fa kwache obi na nye nka ye dum e wona akoma mu se February Valentine Day 2025 na aye Joylinda etowe e de chairman na entumi enkonkan ya na sebe ye administrator Sonia wono so towe di che ni kunu na bibia etumi nkonkan kase na sia no pe ma memfa se da PSA emfa man Richard Strawberry so gina camera na echinchin camera no etumi de ma bibia etumi nkonkan Elizabeth Fosuah ebe man mo supporting moral ya na no pe sound Edward Atta wono a na osan graphics ma na bibia etumi nkonkan Sresrebidi no director Abigail Boas wono eno director bibia na tumi konkan supported by Sonia bibia tumi konkan head of MCRA set mate producer Joy Linda one on a session 7 nyina ma ye no pay ya de ebe soon. The show, the news was proudly produced. Executive producer Terry Debra one and Terry Chire na no pay news team ni nyina Terry Chire na nsama di kase no akoten bi ni onimonyamfo say chairman sabon so chire mu say anamonto a speaker bagman etu no won hu ano enti won hwe no fa nkyere mu enfamra eno mo na Felix Ofosukwache wono so chire mu say mampeni wono sa private jet amukan ke wono economy kura wa fa bi da watenatena commercial ones mu na we no ni nua na hu so uyo man adwuma nti brabeche na afa koye adwuma na wo adwedie nsem no wo mo de ababeto dwa say Dr. Johnson esiam mo bu odidin no wo chem say we subo bi omode abono no omo ye de free ho enu nti enene de omo aso be governor Edema Bank of Ghana na woni je de nsem timini agbunzo wono so no woka no je na say odo no ma monetize no ma sika adomu soko won hwe na monte so na mrantie no entumi ware na odo enye kama Odiyifo Yaw still I be krache fialengo 1 na edi ameje so me se ha ma munyina mo ne hwe ni ti a ye jeme odihye